Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are getting right into the heart of n8n. We're talking about the node. Seriously, if you want to build any automation at all, I don't care if it's super simple or this massive complex process, you've got to understand this one thing first. It is the fundamental building block. So let's pull back the curtain and figure out what a node really is.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about the atom of automation. Then we'll get into the three main types of nodes. After that, we'll see how you actually get a node onto your canvas. We'll peek inside to see how they work, and finally, we'll learn how to read the data that comes out of them.
All right, first up, the atom of automation. Before we can start building these amazing, powerful workflows, we really need to get our heads around this one core idea. What in the world is a node?
So what is it? Well, it's simple really. A node is the most basic, essential piece of any workflow you'll ever build in n8n. The best way to think about it is like a single Lego brick. By itself, it's just one little piece. But you start connecting them, one after another, and pretty soon you've built something incredible out of these simple parts. I absolutely love this quote. Calling a node the atom of n8n is just perfect. It really nails how important it is, right? Just like a real atom, it's the smallest, most fundamental unit that everything else is built from. Every complex process, every piece of data you move around, it all starts with a node.
Okay, so if nodes are our atoms, how do we start combining them? Well, they generally fall into three main categories, and you can think of these as the different stages of a journey that your data takes through the workflow.
You see, every workflow kind of has this life cycle. It all begins with a start node, which we usually call a trigger. This is what kicks the whole thing off. It could be a new email, a form submission, anything. From there, your data flows into the process nodes. This is where the real magic happens. You can change the data, filter it, combine it, whatever you need. And then finally, it gets to a finish node, which sends your perfectly processed data to its final home, whether that's updating a spreadsheet or posting a message in Slack.
All right, enough with the theory for a minute. Let's get our hands dirty. How do you actually take one of these atoms and get it on your canvas so you can start building something? Let's walk through it right now.
It's actually super simple. You're just staring at a blank canvas, you hit that big plus button, and this huge list of all the possible nodes just pops up. You find the one you want, give it a click, and bam, it's right there on your canvas, ready for you to set it up and connect it.
And hey, let me give you a little pro tip that's going to save you so much time. That list of nodes, it's long. It's really long. So instead of scrolling forever, just click that plus button and immediately start typing what you're looking for, like Google Sheets or Discord. It's a total game changer.
Okay, so we've got a node on our canvas. Now what? Well, we have to tell it what to do, right? So let's double-click on it and take a look at all the settings you'll find inside.
Once you're inside, you'll mainly see two different areas. On the left, you've got the parameters. These are the settings that are totally unique to that specific node. So for a Google Sheets node, this is where you'd pick which spreadsheet to use and what you want to do with it. Then, on the right, under that little gear icon, you'll find the advanced settings. These are the more general things, like how to handle errors or adding notes, and they're pretty much the same for any node.
Now, inside the parameters for pretty much any app node, you're going to see a really important field, credentials. This is how you give n8n permission to securely connect to your other accounts like Google or Slack. And the best part is you only have to set them up one time. They're saved securely, which makes building all your future workflows so much faster.
All right, we're in the home stretch. We've got our node on the canvas. We've configured it. So what happens when we run it? It creates data. So for our last section, let's look at how n8n shows you that data so you always know exactly what's going on inside your workflow.
So after a node runs, the first thing you'll see is its output. And the default view is the table view, which is awesome because it's so easy to understand. It looks just like a spreadsheet with all your data organized into neat columns and rows. It makes it so easy to see exactly what information your node just pulled in.
Now, if you want to see what's happening behind the scenes, you can switch over to the JSON view. This shows you the raw data structure that n8n is actually working with, these things called key value pairs. I know it might look a little technical at first, but trust me, understanding this is like a superpower for building more advanced stuff. And don't worry, we're going to cover this in a lot more detail in our next explainer. And finally, there's the schema view. The best way to think about this is like a blueprint of your data. It doesn't show you the actual data itself, but it lists out all the available fields or keys that you have. This is incredibly useful because it tells you exactly what pieces of information you have to work with for the next node in your workflow. So there you have it. We went from understanding the node as the atom of automation to the different types, how to configure them, and even how to read their data. You literally have the essential building blocks now. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build first?